Ferris, Gateshead and the Celtic Crusaders, they have flourished. Wembley 2007, the playoffs followed in 2009, and they got to within 80 minutes of Old Trafford. But the Giants second in the table, and this game means a lot to the Dragons tonight, because they can get, if Wigan slip up against the Castleford Tigers, they can get to within a point of them at the top of the table. And they do have a rich history, this club. It includes 7 championships and 6 Challenge Cup triumphs. The most recent title came, though, 51 years ago. The last Wembley, 60 years ago. And so, the Huddersfield Giants are writing their own piece of history in 2013. Looks like the youngsters are enjoying it, Steve-O. Let's hope they're cheering a Huddersfield win.
Well, they will start favourites, and the Catalan Dragons fully aware, as I mentioned in the build-up there. Interesting to see when Freixenet brings on Thomas Boss to partner Scott Durrow. They'll start with Price and Durrow in that half-back position, but it's the forwards that will make the tempo in the opening few minutes, that's for sure. It should be rough and tough, just like we saw last Monday.
Yes, the weekend that we enjoyed last week was tremendous. Friday night, Castleford. That was a tremendous game against Hull. And then on Monday, it rose to a new level almost with Warrington against Wigan. So these two sides, playoff ambitions burning brightly. They know the standards that they have to reach. And here is the first penalty of the match, hands in at the play the ball by Leon Price, and he doesn't look too impressed with that particular decision.
Well, you can see quite clearly he's just messing around. One day it's going to get through to some of these players that the officials, they make it quite clear before they even kick off. I don't want any messing around, putting your hands when the player is trying to play the ball.
Interesting that James Child is tonight's match official. He was the referee in Perpignan in April. He was the man who brandished the red card in the face of Luke Robinson, who's on the ball now from the play the ball. He gets it away to Leroy Cudjoe.
That's a bit high again from Price.
Sean Lunt's the dummy half for the Giants. Here's Robinson again, looking for the runners, and the runner was there in the shape of Lan Patrick.
He'll be quite happy, Patrick, to start a game. Normally they pick him off from the bench. Oh, great position there by Blanche.
Yes, Damien Blanche, he read the script then. Brough trying to just roll the kick in behind him.
And this, I'm sure, is a big test for the Dragons as they've prepared for this game. The two wingers and fullback are typically in a rugby league team the men who have to receive the kicks. And you know when you play against the Giants, very often Danny Brough will put awkward, difficult ones. Maybe not what you're expecting it, but their anticipation has to be good to make sure that the kicks don't put too much pressure on the French team.
You might have noticed in our team sheets, here's a penalty for obstruction against Steve Menzies, and he's not impressed with that decision either.
Well, I think he gave himself up.
Well, he stopped, didn't he?
Yeah, he gave himself up. Realised that it run back round the player. There's no way in the world that George was going to get to him.
And he's been marched back 10 metres towards his own line for back-chatting to James Child. I was just going to make the point on the team sheets that we showed you. Luke George was named on the wing, and Aaron Murphy was named in the centres. But they actually started with Murphy on the wing and George in the centres. That's not the best pass, but it finds its way to Leroy Cudjoe. And a little hop, skip and a jump from him before he is grounded 15 metres away from the Catalan Dragons line. There is Sean Lunt. Here's Robinson, turns the ball back on the inside once again. And Craig Kopjak will get to his feet and will play it to Lunt. And Lunt, oh, that's a great short pass, and Brett Ferris is in. Was that the genius that is Danny Brough with that short ball to Ferris? And a block-busting run from Ferris. Straight through the gap. A tremendous try. And I don't think the French are terribly impressed with the two penalties that have been given against them, because Remy Casti is having a discussion as we watch Brett Ferris about those two decisions.
Well, no problem with that one. And Menzies went across Blanche, and then a few words were spoken to the official. Scott Durrow had his few words. They got another 10 metres. And yes, Eddie, you asked the question, was that skill factor from Danny Brough the reason why the big fella, Ferris, scores the try? Yes. Never mind the penalties. Why did no one go low on this big fella? He just brushed them away. You can't go high on such a big fella, and that's what Scott Daru tried to do. You got to get the legs. Good start, not happy.
No, Remy Casti unimpressed. The kick is okay from Danny Brough, and the Huddersfield Giants have slipped into a 6-0 lead. And the Catalan Dragons haven't touched the ball yet, I don't think.
Well, one of the problems the Dragons had last week, they felt as though they were on the wrong end of a lot of decisions from the referee. They lost at home, now they're to Hull Kingston Rovers. And they've got off again on the wrong start here with the officials. A penalty for offside. The coach of the Huddersfield side pretty happy. They've executed the play. They've put a big man on a little man. I'm sure they've talked about that. And it's put the first 6 points on the board.
And the scorer, Brett Ferris, vice-captain of the Giants this year, is having a fantastic season. A try against Leeds last week as well. Substitute for England against the Exiles just a couple of weeks ago. That was his senior debut. He did make 4 appearances in the 2006 Federation Shield side. But that was while the senior team was away on tour down under. It was looked upon really as an England A team, that. Well, under the control of Paul Cullen, by the way. Steve-O, you're anxious to get in on that.
Yeah, well, it's just that Michael Lawrence wanted to get on with the game as quickly as possible, lost control of it. Sometimes you can be just a touch over eager. But again, this Catalan side, when they travel away from the south of France, they really do seem to struggle in the opening 10-15 minutes.
Here goes Vincent Duport, and he was taking on Luke George down the centre. This is Blanche now, and George working very hard. He's back here at the Giants after a spell on loan, 4 games for Hull Kingston Rovers. He was injured actually in the Magic weekend. He didn't play for them again. He's now fully fit and back here. And Ian Henderson is the dummy half. Finds Giroud. Giroud looks for the runner that's Price, and Price lays it off to Morgan Escaré, this exciting young French talent.
Well spotted, though. They realise he comes late on that second phase to pull back.
Giroud again just pops it up to Remy Casti, who's going to link up with his former boss, Trent Robinson, with the Roosters next year. A chip out wide from Giroud. It's well claimed. It's going to be a try, this. Okay. It's a try from Vincent Duport.
Yeah, got it down okay. He's going upstairs, though.
And he's just checking the onside here, Stuart Cummings. Yeah, we'll get to you in a minute, Stu, because we can't hear you at the minute. The microphone is not switched on.
Well, it looks okay. He looks onside as far as I'm concerned. It was a beautiful kick by Scott Daru. Right on the inside. Now, was there any interruption by the second rower, Steve Menzies?
Mike, it's the same principle as the first try at the other end of the field. It's a big man Duport against a small man in Brough. I know you're looking for the interference from Menzies in number 11, the black shirt. I don't think there is any. I suppose the expert Stuart might tell us.
Well, he might if we get the communication sorted out to him, but we will be with Stuart in a moment. Here comes with the decision. I think this will be a try for the Catalan Dragons. And the try is given. And Vincent Duport, an immediate response from the Dragons, and that will please Laurent Freycinet. 5 tries in his last 3 appearances before tonight for Vincent Duport, the 13-time French international.
And this is the great advantage, having such a tall player as Steve Menzies. He's sort of shadowed and made sure that Danny Brough never had a clean look at that. That's interesting that Steve Ganson, the video referee, has said that there was no interference. But he's certainly such a big man, isn't he? Steve Menzies, there was no chance for Danny Brough to have a sight at that ball.
So Giroud to try and add the extras and level the scores, and he just pushes it the wrong side of the post.
When a crossfield kick goes up like this, Eddie, and we know that Danny Brough can put them, or Scott Giroud, I should say, can put them on the mark. Danny Brough's got 2 options. He can either challenge for the ball or wait for the catcher to land on the ground and then tackle him. I think he gets caught between the 2. Nobody goes up and challenges Duport, and nobody is ready to pounce and pincer move him when he comes back down, seal up the ball and stop him scoring the try. Danny Brough will have to do a little bit better because Scott Giroud might go back at that play again tonight.
Let's just get confirmation that Steve Ganson got that spot on from Stuart Cummings. I think we've restored the communication now.
Yes, I think we have absolutely no problem with that try. Onside and no problem with the catch or the grounding.
Oh, and they have let this ball bounce. The Catalan Dragons, the man who collected it was in touch, and so that's as good a kick-off as they could possibly wish for. And that's a bit of a mistake, really, from Frederick Vackery, to be fair.
Well, there's no communication. That's the reason why Vackery was left and said, well, did someone shout? No. The answer is, you've got to sort it out. And poor old Vackery, you could see quite clearly, as soon as he touches the ball, left foot, well and truly over the whitewash.
If you got a chance to come forward to that ball, Steve, that's your ball. So that is Vackery's ball. He should have made the call and let everybody in front of him know.
Huddersfield try scorer Brett Ferris just clamping the arm of Ian Henderson on him and on the ball. Patrick will take it forward underneath the Dragons' sticks. Lunt is waiting at dummy half. Gets the ball away. And here is Brough again, a long looping pass out wide. Oh, and he crawls his way to the line. Does Aaron Murphy.
He's short to start with, but whether he rolls over in one motion, that's the reason why he's going up to Steve Ganson yet again.
Well, Stuart Cummings, we could have a triathlon on our hands tonight.
We may well do, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this on first look. It's just he's not tackled, he's not held, so if he's short, he can actually move it forward. And I think it just his momentum takes it onto the line anyway. So that should be a try again.
Just explain that. You say he can move it forward, he can't move the arm forward. So long as momentum takes him across the whitewash, there's no problem.
He's not tackled short, his momentum takes him forward, and if his momentum takes him onto the line, then that's fine.
Now then, does the ball lift off terra firma? He's short in the first instance. That is quite clear.
It's a try all day.
Well, it should be, but as you see, the ball has then gone up into the air. Does Murphy get it down the second time?
I think he got it down the first time, Mike. That's what Brian's trying to say. It was already a try when it hit the try line. You don't have to get it over the line, just on it.
And the try is given by Steve Ganson. That's tries now in 4 successive games for Aaron Murphy, who has made rapid strides this year. Well, at the moment, it's like you score one end, we'll score the other, and then you go up the other end and you can have another one.
Yeah, it all came about by the misinterpretation. Vackery really should have screamed for that. Again, the long pass out wide. Nice step as well by Murphy. You can see there they left Damien Blanche in no man's land.
Well, it's like tries on the London Underground, where they send the trains in, of course. Once every 3 minutes. We've had tries every 3 minutes.
Eddie, that try came because of what Danny Brough did the first time in putting Brett Ferris and Scott Giroux. Huddersfield Giants have spooked the Catalan Dragons defence. What's the reaction to Brett Ferris's run? When the ball is put out wide, they come in on Brett Ferris. They think it's going to come to go to him, and it leaves Aaron Murphy unmarked out wide. That's very smart play from the Huddersfield Giants. And the Catalan Dragons, well, they'll have to try and make a better decision next time.
Just the wrong side of the posts. The touch judges weren't sure.
No, it screamed away on that right-hand side, and not surprisingly, it was pretty low as well.
Well, there was almost no signal from one and a wipe away from the other.
It was great.
Stuart, if one flag had gone up and one flag had stayed down, what would have been the decision?
The referee then is the casting vote on that. He has the front-on view.
Well, it was close, but it wasn't close enough. Can he refer that upstairs to the video referee, Steve Ganson?
Not under the current protocols at the moment, no, but it's perhaps something that should be looked at in the future.
OK.
You create a lot of problems, Eddie.
No, well, we couldn't do much about the ball going right over the top of the post. We couldn't sort that out, which is what Rod Studd wants, of course, to eradicate by putting nets on the back of the posts.
Floating nets.
But we could ask, I suppose he could be asked in future about whether it did go over the bar or not. Hull Kingston Rovers are ahead at St Helens. This is Nathan Brown's former club, of course. We're watching the Huddersfield Giants, and they're ahead by 10-4 against the Catalan Dragons.
Not surprisingly, you know, when Dupont went in for the try, is that the Huddersfield's defence has been so solid this season that it's likely that the Catalan Dragons will go for the aerial route throughout this entire game.
Well, that was a much better set of 6 from Huddersfield in defence. That ball is swirling around all over the place, though, and Scott Griggs couldn't take it in. That's a big error from the fullback, and he knows it as well.
You know, Eddie, he has this in his game. He's a very talented player. I like watching Scott Griggs play. But in that role, that fullback role, first and foremost, you have to be so secure defensively, because you get exposed. You're on your own defensively when you got to make a tackle and when you got to field those kicks. And Scott has made a couple of those errors so far this season. He'll want to get them out of his game. I've no doubt he's working hard on it. You see him with the ball in his hands, he can attack as well as anybody else in that team, but that's just one of the areas there's been a few problems with.
Just to give him a little bit of credit, the wind is swirling around, isn't it?
Yeah, the wind is behind him, and it sort of just lost it for about half a metre. Either way, the visitors have a golden opportunity now.
They do. Ooh, that looked as though it might have gone a little bit forward from, or into the arms rather of Zebtaya. Henderson, 9 metres away. And here is Scott Giroux, just changing the direction. Spins, he's got 3 round him, can't get the ball away. So Henderson is content to allow him to take the tackle, then gets the ball away, finds Leon Price, good movement again. Menzies just short of the line, decent defence on show from Brough and Ferris. This is Henderson, ball on the ground, knocked on by Lance Patrick. It is, he's wiped the tackle count clean, they're wide here, and there's a chance again. It's another try for Frederick Vackery.
He's got to give this, surely.
Well, there's one, the touch judge stood on the corner post far side.
Just checking for an obstruction back at the play of the ball.
And an obstruction at the play of the ball they're looking for here. Stuart Cummings.
Yeah, they're looking at the Huddersfield play, the Catalan play of the ball initially, whether somebody's actually coming in to block. I think the player that comes in, I think, is a live player going for the ball, and the pass goes behind him.
Just a shocking pass, isn't it?
That's all it is, it's just a bad pass.
This is a planned move, Ryan. Going to get him out wide.
I mean, he's just and
in any case, the defender goes to tackle the Catalan player. So
that's a knock-on.
It's a knock-on by Patrick. So
it's back to it.
It's a free play, Eddie.
Free play
out to the wing.
Well, they should have put him away, but the upper body strength proved to be on top on this occasion. No, this will be given.
That's a great finish, isn't it? He's gone straight over the top of him, held on to the ball. Players would have been trying to dislodge that. That's a great finish.
Well, a great finish, and as a result of 2 knock-ons by Huddersfield in defence, the 4th try of the match, and it's come bang on time inside 12 minutes as well. 4 tries in 12 minutes.
Well, the notable fact about all of the 4 tries, when either team has been close to opponent's try line, they've found a way of getting over it. Here's the error from Griggs. He knocks on. Perhaps he wished he turned his body facing backwards. The ball might have gone backwards. But as it was here, when the team gets to the opponent's try line, they've been able to get over it. And the defences, I'm sure, for the remainder of this game, need to improve. Otherwise, we're going to end up at 60-40, something like that, with a final scoreline.
Well, we've been saying from minute 1 of the programme that these are 2 sides with designs on Old Trafford. This defence from both sides, OK, they can score tries, Steve-O, but this defence from both sides says they're not going to get within cooey of Old Trafford.
No, you're right, Eddie, and Scott Giroux, surely. He's pretty... Oh, no, he's missed that as well.
So the Giants maintain the lead, 10-8.
Well, the thing that will disappoint Paul Anderson, the Giants coach, is the way that Jermaine McGilvray comes right out of the line. Watch him, he'll appear soon. That was a flash, not as fast as that car that Bill Arthur was at the side before then, but I must say, Paul Anderson will be furious to the way that McGilvray came out of the position.
5 tries in 5 now for Frederick Vackery. He's in great form on the wing for the Catalan Dragons. Well, it's been a strange sort of a start, hasn't it?
It has, but the visitors will be quite happy. I've made the point that normally they're very, very slow to get into the game when they're away from the south of France. But that's better defence by the Giants. That hurt.
Still no points at the DW Stadium, Wigan and Castleford. Oh, Hull Kingston Rovers 10 up against St Helens. Wow. See how that one develops during the course of the night. Reports, of course, on all the games. Great ball from Leon Price. Wonderful ball. And a decent run and a great pass wide. Oh, it's gone behind everybody. It's picked up by Vackery. Lucky to get away with that. That was the big man, wasn't it? That was Zebtaya who made the mess of the pass. It was a wonderful ball from Price.
It certainly was, but they had the opportunity. Oh no, that's a poor kick.
It was Morgan Escaray with that.
Well, perhaps Jay McGilvery shouldn't have come in when the try was scored, but I'll tell you what, he saved one on that occasion. His communication with Scott Griggs at fullback, both of them backpedaled, and they forced the Catalan Dragons into make a decision, at the same time giving Huddersfield a chance to get their troops back to aid them. Well defended by Jermaine.
Well, I think both coaches will get the message out, so come on, we've got to up the tempo, both in attack and defence. The most surprising thing as far as the Giants is concerned, Sean Lunt, the man that's in there at dummy half, he hasn't run from dummy half as yet. Oh, neat step.
Robinson gets to his feet, plays the ball. Lunt takes control, it goes high off the boot of Bruffs. This will spiral everywhere. This is a tester for Escaray. See the mess that everyone's making of it? And it's still on the last tackle, and in the end, the Catalan Dragons come back and they snuff the danger out. Murphy could not get it. It just bounced too high for him, look.
And it just went over the top of Danny Bruff. The beautiful offload there by Leon Price. Look, he had someone there and he should have given it to him, that short pass. He had the full back and then went for the option out wide. Didn't pay off.
Well, the wind is causing havoc up in the air, isn't it, with these high kicks?
And you're right, Eddie, it does blow from left to right as we sit and watch here. I think that's the reason why Scott Griggs possibly lost his first one. At the last moment, it blew away from him. And on that occasion for Escaray, it actually blew over the top of him. It's difficult, and I know both fullbacks last weekend he had difficulty in the game. When the wind swirls, the pass comes out, another error, and a really poor opening start to this match.
Well, it often goes when you try the blind look pass, and that's what you saw from Duro. It was far too high. No way in the world was Daryl Millard going to take that in. Bit of confusion. It's been a while. Scott Duro has only played, this is his 4th game since the problem with the eye.
Just draw a line in the sand, I think the two coaches will be saying after the opening 17.5 minutes here, and let's start playing.
Yeah, it's a great way of looking on it. I think Huddersfield Giants started so well. They were looking good. They were playing the ball quickly. I worried for the Catalan Dragons. They were sticking their hand on the ball, grabbing around the neck in an effort to slow the Huddersfield Giants down. I thought if Huddersfield kept going, well, Catalan Dragons might be in for a long night. But no, they've got themselves into this game. And you're right, Eddie. Perhaps starting from scratch again might be the message.
Well, I'm sure for the purists and for the coaches that might be the case, but for the viewers, 4 tries in the opening 17-18 minutes, it's great entertainment again.
It certainly is, Eddie, but your mind has to go back to last Monday when those two teams, Warrington and Wigan, and they know, everybody in rugby league, all the players know that that's the standard that they're going to have to get up to give them a good run for money.
Earl Crabtree is out off the bench. Pushes them off him, pushes Menzies away, launches the next attack. Here is Scott Griggs. Price stood his ground, and it's a knock-on by Griggs. And look at the jubilation on the face of Leon Price.
Yeah, and he had a few words to say to the fullback, Scott Griggs. Not the best start by this fella. Through the dummy. Was there a hand to drag it out? Either way, he said he'd lost it in the impact.
Let's work on this ruck speed, guys. Both sides, lock in.
Well, Scott Griggs, a try last week against the Rhinos. Leon Price, he had a knee operation this winter, and he's come back strong. That's the mistake. Another one.
Well, the idea was good. It's sometimes you look as though you're going to do the dummy and then offload, but it was just behind him.
I don't think it was for him. It was for Escaray, wasn't it? It was the man who eventually ended up with the ball in hand.
No, I think you'll find it was for DePort.
I don't know. I think that goes out to Escaray. You're right, Steve. I think you're saying that Steve Menzies doesn't throw many bad ones, but he certainly walked into the DePort into a brick wall if he was trying to pass it to him.
You're all very protective of the old man,
no,
Steve Menzies.
I do think the ball should have gone to Escaray.
I know he's a legend, but come on.
Well, I thought you were looking at me then. You're referring to me.
No, we're never protective of you.
Too true. Oh, great defence. Duport, come to daddy, bang, straight. Well, Scott Griggs is wondering when he can just get himself involved in this game.
Luke George plays the ball, and here is Danny Bruff, and now it's Earl Crabtree.
The left side seems to be the Giants' favour. I don't know whether they'll switch to play here now from Brough, but they've gone to try and run it to Rowe, and here they go again that way.
Brough will stab it through. Great following up by Ferris. It's the second try for Brett Ferris. Without reference upstairs this time, Brett Ferris gets another Huddersfield try.
He's in fine form, Eddie, and the man that has created it is Danny Brough yet again. His first try was a little super short pass. On this occasion, it's a dribble through. Scott Derone tried his damnedest to hold him back. This is the pass, just the Pope couldn't take it. And from that position, the magic yet again from Danny Brough. As I say, Scott Derone trying to get hold of Ferris, hold him back. But it's too big. Try number 2.
Well, Danny Brough has already kicked a goal here tonight, and prior to this evening he'd played and scored in 20 of the 21 this year. And he has just kicked another 2 points to the Huddersfield total, which is now 16, Catalan Dragons 8.
And Eddie's the common thread to all those tries. They all revolve around what Brett Ferris is going to do off a Danny Brough move. When the Catalan Dragons saw Danny Brough flash around to the short side, they felt, oh no, here's another ball to Brett Ferris, or here's another wide ball. We've got to get up, we've got to close this down. As soon as Danny Brough saw the Catalan defence move up quickly, he put the ball on his foot and dribbled it very delicately in behind. Brett Ferris able to capitalise. He's giving us a masterclass tonight on that left-hand side.
Cudjoe will take it forward for the Giants. He's held by 3, one leg in the air, one leg hopping around on the ground. Lunt to Robinson, lays it off. Here comes Lon Patrick again, and Castleford are leading at Wigan. Hull KR leading at Saints, Castleford leading at Wigan, Huddersfield leading here against the Catalan Dragons. So far, a big night for the Giants. Long way to go yet, though.
Pretty smart move as well by Paul Anderson to throw out Earl Crabtree at a time when there were a little bit of 6s and 7s.
That's a great kick. That's Now, was that ball still rolling? Was it still rolling? Or
still rolling, and he put his foot over the dead ball line, so he's made it dead.
I just wonder if it was still rolling, Stuart.
Just about rolling, I think. There's some momentum
it just sighed its way towards him.
Here it is, rolling, 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 rolling.
Only just.
Another song?
That's all it needs. Only just.
Yeah, who sang that? Who sang Rolling? Was that? Oh, I know who it was. I know it was.
Metallica.
It was the theme to Rawhide, and it was by. Quiz question for you. Everyone will be screaming around the country. They'll know. Frankie Lane, wasn't it?
Before my
Metallica,
time.
I told you.
Frankie Lane, dearie me.
This is Escaray.
Good defence. Had to be as well. Trying to get the dummy through.
Ian Henderson. Oh, he's asking for a penalty, not coming. And he was more concerned about getting the penalty from James Child than getting past the defender. Ooh, that's Dale Ferguson, I think, all over the top of Henderson. He's not happy, but there's a high kick. Now then, how did this come out? It's 0, and it came off the Huddersfield man. I thought there might have been a knock on both ways then.
Well, that was poor defence by Huddersfield.
Here goes Lapini Paya.
Both were shouting to saying it's mine, and then they both collided.
Zeb ties in a dummy half, and he finds Duro, who finds Price. Price then to Escaray again. Great tackle. Wonderful tackle from Danny Brough.
Just did enough as well, Eddie, to slow things down.
And then he missed Escaray, but Griggs didn't. And Griggs just released him at the last moment. So Escaray's plays the ball to Damien Blanche. A try! What a surprise!
Not to Damien Blanche, it isn't. He thought, he's sure that on the short side they were a little bit weak. Straight in at the corner. That's good work by the winger, Damien Blanche. You're right, Eddie. This is going to be a point-a-thon.
It will. As I say, the purists won't like it, but it's great entertainment. Good stuff.
Well, it hits Bakary on the shoulder, and that's when the official James Child says play on. Oh, Danny Brough, look at that. Fantastic. And he did enough just to slow things down there. Watch, he rolls away, makes it look as though he's trying his damnedest, but that's poor defence. Should have been alert. Only had one marker, and that was George. Nothing that Aaron Murphy could do. Was too late, was the cry.
Well, another try bang on the timetable of this match, but for Damien Blanche, he's been without a Super League try since the win against Widnes on the 16th of March in a 46-14 victory. In a long, long time since he got over the line, Damien Blanche, but he's over tonight. And here's Scott Giroux. Can he kick this one? And the answer is no, he can't. So they've scored 3, and none of them have been converted. That's why they've got 12. Huddersfield have got 16.
I've watched the Giants this season play at home against Wigan, Leeds and St Helens. They've defended the try line for numerous players, kept 3 good sides out. But tonight here, mentally they don't seem to have the defensive attitude. They don't seem concentrating here or concerned enough, I would say, here to prevent their opponents from scoring when they get close to it.
You're right, and that was best demonstrated by Danny Brough, Phil. He was furious with his teammates. He had pulled off a great tackle. He drove the Catalan players into the ground. They got up and played the ball in a relatively simple try in the end for Damien Blanche. You don't see the enthusiasm that you'd expect from a second-place side in defence just on that occasion.
Try for Damien Blanche now in his last 3 visits to Huddersfield, formerly with Castleford, Widnes and Wakefield, of course, Damien Blanche. The Irish international, where are we? 16-12, 26 minutes on the clock.
Move. Wait, fellas, wait.
Yeah, a little bit of a problem for both sides in regards to enthusiasm and quick thinking.
40-20 attempt here from Scott Giroux. Just a thought, with Giroux having missed the 3 conversions so far, is that a case for getting Thomas Bosk off the bench earlier than anticipated by Lauren Freystew, I wonder?
Well, it's taken him a while, hasn't it, Scott Giroux? We knew it would, and that should be a penalty. That's a bit of a throttle tackle there by Pay.
There are some teams, Eddie, in Rugby League who bring on another scrum half, fullback, or whatever you want to call Thomas Bosk, and actually play him as a loose forward. Maybe later in the game that has happened. 2 of the teams in Australia do it. The French side here might as well do that when Bosk comes on. Have more of a creative player as the game progresses.
Let's go down to Bill.
Well, you mentioned Thomas Bosk, and I thought they were listening to Steve-O, because he got out of the dugout just as he was talking about that and started to warm up. But in actual fact, it's Kevin Laroyer who I think will be coming on next for the Dragons. And in fact, even he has put his warm-up top back on, and Bosk is standing on the sidelines, just casing the joint, really, and thinking, well, I could have landed 2 of those at least, I would have thought.
Absolutely. He's also on 49 tries for the Catalan Dragons, Thomas, so he just needs 1 more for 50. Now then, Stuart, just take a look at this, will you?
Well, they're in the back of the ruck. I mean, there's no advantage at all to Catalan, so, you know, that should be a penalty to them, and, you know, now the Giants are in possession.
Yes, and they're trying to make ground away from their own try line. Lunt actually touched the ball in the ruck then, so technically it was a penalty, wasn't it?
Well, quite a few of the home fans getting a little bit frustrated. They feel that James Child are not taking them back the full 10. Nothing new in our game, of course, from the fans, but really has not been the aggressive game that we anticipated.
And Leroy Cudjoe was looking for Jermaine McGilvray, and he found Tim Roby, the touch judge.
And he should have been looking for him, and Jermaine McGilvray should have been up beside him. He's absolutely missed the job.
It was
That's
a no-look
from
pass,
heaven
though,
for a winger. Wait, low-look pass, I understand that, but he's got every right to expect his wingman is right beside him for that pass.
Well, I've got 2 eyes, and I've always said that if you're gonna see where you're gonna put it, you're gonna have a look first. And well, there's
a discussion going on between Henderson and James Child about that mess at the play the ball where Sean Lunt got a hand on it, and they obviously had different views of the event, both the player and the referee. A lot of chatting, isn't there, to the officials?
Yes, and there's quite a few little verbals going on amongst both sides. Not much love lost out there, but no side really has just stamped the authority. The kicking game has been poor. It's as though they've completely forgotten about it, and all we'll do is just trundle up the big forwards and try to prove how tough we are.
Well, the coaches will be delighted when the next 10.5 minutes goes by, because they can get at the players and they can hopefully sort things out.
And that's a little pocket rocket, number 16 for the French side, Eloy Pellissier here. A lot of strength in the lower half of his body. He just... Oh, he's intercepted.
Oh, an interception from McGilvray. I don't think they'll catch him, but it's Menzies who's leading the way. Didn't he do well, Steve Menzies? He got to him, but momentum took Jermaine McGilvray home. Tries given to McGilvray. Wing for the 16th game in a row. He hasn't scored in the last 6, although he's got 11 tries now for the season, having broken that particular barren spell, and that was like taking candy off a baby.
Yeah, really well. It was the delayed pass by Leon Price, and he could have stopped and put a stamp on this one. There you go. Not the best pass at all. Give him full marks for putting himself in the position. Menzies, what an effort from a 39-year-old. But he had the momentum. But I think even McGilvray would have been surprised to say, where did he come from?
Great effort from Menzies, the oldest player ever to appear in the Super League. Rolling back the years there. Brough adds the extras. 22 points to 12 to Huddersfield Giants.
Well, McGilvray has gone and totally redeemed himself. He was at fault when he was missing when Cudjoe needed to pass the ball short to him. He missed the jump. On this occasion, he read it wonderfully well. Showed the speed to finish it. You're right, a good chase back by Menzies, but it was in vain. That man is on his side. The power of good now. Can they kick on eventually as he feels the ball?
Well, in half an hour tonight, we've got the scoreline we had in 80 minutes at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium on Monday night between Warrington and Wigan, 22 points to 12. But it's entertaining.
I think we all, though, people, even if you're a casual viewer of rugby league, you like to see a team have to work a little bit harder than what some of these have for the tries tonight, Eddie.
Do you think it's an attitude problem? Do you think that, you know, Huddersfield have turned high? I think that's a bit of a mismatch, Pellissier and Crabtree.
Well, to be fair, Crabtree swung the left arm and caught Pellissier. That's a great kick.
Let me just go back to that point. Is it mental attitude for these two sides that they're not playing a Warrington, Wigan, Leeds?
It looks that way from the commentary box.
To Huddersfield, that, isn't it, to say that?
It looks that way from the commentary box. It looks like the Giants haven't been able to get up for this. They've not had that hit and punch in defence that they had last week against Leeds, or in previous games when they've seen them here. But they know that the team they're playing against will score some more points. There's a push there from Earl Crabtree.
I think Earl said, listen, don't be silly.
Yeah, but you know, the man playing the ball can't just push the opposition. That's the question that's been requested and answered, hopefully. Little grin on the face of Big Crabtree. That's good refereeing.
Well, James Shaw's having a bit of a job controlling this in many ways. Bill, what are you saying?
Thomas Bosk just about to come on for the Dragons for the last 7 minutes of this first half. Be interesting to see who he replaces. And interestingly, Eloy Pellissier was involved in a scrap with Earl Crabtree the moment he got on the pitch, virtually. First time he touched the ball, Crabtree was involved in the tackle. There was a bit of afters in that, and Crabtree and Pellissier exchanged cards, and obviously it's rumbling on still. And it's Remy Casti, I think, who's come off in place of Thomas Bosk.
That's an interesting move by Laurent Fresneau to take off Big Remy and put Thomas Bosk on. I just wonder, you know, looking at the two sides here, Huddersfield played Leeds, didn't they, on Sunday? I just wonder if they're a little bit sore after that. I wonder if that's got anything to do with what we're seeing here.
Well, it's the same for both sides, Eddie, in regards to that, you know, you pick up knocks throughout the season. It's just the attitude. It has not been good from either side. And that's out in the fall.
It is. Thomas Bosk didn't quite get the sight set, but was it the wind that took it?
The biggest problem for Fresneau, the Catalan coach, is that everyone suspected that Duro would have been the first man to be taken off and chained and then exchanged with Thomas Bosk. But, you know, Fresno has to make sure that he gives him game time. He's only played 3-4 games.
And a penalty here against the Catalan Dragons. He's not impressed, isn't Zeb Taya, about this?
The Giants might not have played well in the first half we've seen so far, but a ruthless team here now will punish their opponents as we approach half-time. A 10-point lead is important. Make that 16 and it becomes significant.
8-0 Castleford ahead at Wigan. 22-12 Huddersfield leading at home to the Catalan Dragons. You're watching it live on Sky Sports 1 HD. And here is Dale Ferguson again for the Giants. And if Castleford hang on for the win against Wigan, what a difference that will make to Huddersfield, because there'll be a point behind the Warriors at the top of the table if the score stays they are. That was another flat pass from Danny Brough to Brett Ferris that he couldn't hang on to. Otherwise, there was a hat-trick on the cards here.
Yeah, good tackle from Deport. He reaps the ball out, the impact as well with the left arm. Watch him go straight in, left arm. Went for the ball carrying arm as well. Great stuff.
Damian Blanche will be delighted that Danny Brough decided to throw the short ball to Brett Ferris. Huddersfield Giant had worked an overlap, a significant overlap on that left-hand side. They're causing all sorts of problems for Catalan Dragons over there. On that occasion, Dubourt's tackle of, I think, the wrong pass from Danny Brough was enough to snuff out the attack.
Stuart, James Giles having a bit of a job here to keep a lid on this. I'm not saying it's going to boil over, but he's talking a lot to the players at both sides.
I think they're trying to get an understanding around the ruck. There's a few slow rucks, and you know, they're trying to get an impression of what they can and can't get away with.
A lot of chatting going on. That was what was happening before the scrum formed. We've seen the players looking down the lens of the ref cam straight into the eyes of the referee out there.
He is an Aussie.
Pellissier.
They always have plenty to say, Eddie.
Pellissier gets the ball away to Price. He will dink it over the top. Now, will this run dead or will it stand up in the in-goal area? Just a little bit too hard. And Leon Price was chasing it.
Oh, that's going to be a penalty. That's
a sin bin. It's a sin bin, Mike.
Yeah, he's got to go to the bin on there.
Durrell knows he's running straight to the sin bin. What on earth was he thinking of?
Do you do that if it's a grand final? That's the question we're asking. We're asking about attitude. Does Scott Giroux do this in a grand final? Scott Griggs, in an effort to bring the ball back quickly. Scott Giroux slaps the ball out, knows what the result will be. He must know, he's an experienced player. I'm backing that he doesn't do that if Catalan are at Old Trafford.
Well, whether it be at Old Trafford or during this game, the thing is that if I'm with you, Brian, if there's only a couple of points in it, and you think you're hanging on desperately, you would do something like that, but that really has put a lot of pressure on this Catalan side. Down one player. How will the Giants handle it?
Look at that from Wigan, 12-0 to Castleford. Another mistake from Huddersfield. It's opening up at the top of the table. Giroux's in the sin bin. He'll be there either side of the half-time break, which is 3 minutes away.
Boy, this is a lucky break for the visitors. Good pressure there by Steve Menzies. Ferris could not just keep it in, and there'll be no rush to put this scrum down by the Catalan Dragons. That I can assure you of. Still ticking away.
Well, we're talking about Old Trafford, and you know, the Giants did come close to silver 2006, 2009 Challenge Cup finals under first John Sharp and then Nathan Brown, but they lost to St Helens and Warrington respectively in those finals. They got very close to Old Trafford themselves once upon a time, but this is deemed to be the year that they are writing their own legacy, rewriting the history books for themselves. Catalan Dragons, of course, they finished bottom of the pile twice since they've come into Super League in 2006, and you can only wonder what would have happened had we had promotion relegation back. Where would Catalan Dragons be now if they weren't safeguarded by the licence system?
Spot on, Eddie. It has given them time to build.
And there's a massive debate, of course, currently underway about the future of the Super League competition. It's a sobering thought that we might not be watching Catalan Dragons tonight. Bosk with a kick to the corner, looking for Millard. And all he found was Leroy Cudjoe with a good leap. And Cudjoe wants to get on with this quickly, and can do.
Well, that really should have been a penalty, I felt, because Pellissier was well in front of the kicker. Either way, the Giants have put themselves in a pretty good position.
That was your 10 metres. I'm fucking
And Fayumu.
Don't speak to me like that.
Leon Price has been penalised for talking out of turn to the referee.
Did you go for two? No.
No, Danny Brough likes to apply that pressure as long as he can. Only seconds remaining. I think we might just get one trundle and then a kick. Here's a big fella.
So this is a chance for Huddersfield, a barnstorming run coming in here from Ukumatai. Oh, and another penalty. You know,
I'd take the two
James
now.
Childs. They're on a team warning. There we go. There's the signal. We haven't seen that for a while. A team warning. Next infringement, you are on a sin binning. It's 6-0, the penalty count in Huddersfield's favour. Lauren Freyshnu won't be happy with that and won't be happy with this indiscipline.
Now, I wonder whether Leon Price has been smart. Do I concede 6 or do I concede just 2?
But he's got his team a warning. And even though Stewart were on their way to half-time, and they have the man in the sin bin, of course, the next offence will be a sin binning, even though we're going to have a 15-minute break for half-time. Am I right?
It will be. It'll be game time that counts, and we'll certainly be looking for an improvement in the first 10-15 minutes of the second half.
Okay, we will see. And there's the man in the sin bin.
I'm sure that Price did that deliberately. I really am convinced.
Well, you're right, he has conceded another 2 points. It's 24-12 here at the John Smith Stadium, the home of the Huddersfield Giants. Well, there's been tries galore. 4 for Huddersfield, 3 for Catalan. Catalan haven't converted any of them. Brough has been on target with 4 successful kicks, one of them a penalty, and that's why we have a 24-12 scoreline at half-time. And I think the two coaches will be delighted to get their charges in and have a word in their ears collectively.